Okay.
You
Go
ready?
on.
This is a reenactment of a speech delivered last night, the 28th of May, 2010, to the WHS Reunion. So I'll start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Howard Baugh. I am a wordsmith waggy. I attended Wordsmith High School in 1958 and all in 1959. I'm a 1961 graduate. And it is now my turn to welcome you to the WHS High School Reunion Orlando 2010. We are all here because of a common bond. We are brats, and that is a term of endearment to me. The reunion website said it very well on their welcome page, and that was growing up as military dependents was a very unique and sometimes challenging experience. And it was unique indeed for us because it was in the Philippines. We learned to make friends very quickly, and we learned to cherish those friendships as long as we could. We shared a very common, unique bond, and all these many years we gather at these reunions to celebrate the fact that we are in fact military brats. One Waggy said it very well when he stated that we gather at these reunions and we are among people who get us, who understand us, and we share that common bond. I love reunions. It's a chance to renew old friendships and catch up. It's also a chance to make new, lasting friendships. I have met and developed friendships with people I would have never had the opportunity to meet or form a bond with if it weren't for these reunions. The experience that I had as a military dependent, as a military brat, led me into the Air Force, where I spent 5.5 years. And that led me, as an Air Force pilot, like my father, led me into the airlines. And that's why I wore this uniform tonight, because I think that's an extension of my military training, not just as an Air Force officer, but also as an Air Force dependent. And I think the values that I learned led me into becoming an airline pilot. I absolutely love reunions. One of the amazing things about the reunion is, have you noticed how your classmates are aging horribly and you're not? How is that? There are two factors that I credit. One is DNA, the other is DYE. DNA I get from my parents, of course. DYE I get from Walmart. Lady Clairol #3, can do. I can keep it from turning gray. I cannot keep it from turning loose. I was asked to speak tonight because of my father. My father was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen, and he has accompanied me on a couple of these reunions, one in Portland, Oregon, and one in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And a lot of you all have met my father, and that's why I was asked to speak tonight. I accepted because I think it would do my father proud. Also, the speaker's fee, I mean $10,000. I can use the money, basically. Oh, you're not buying that. Okay. After my father retired, I had the opportunity to accompany him on a lot of the speaking engagements he had on behalf of Tuskegee Airmen and on behalf of the United States, because we traveled worldwide. We had an opportunity one time to talk to a high school class in West Virginia, and it was a very large high school. They brought all the students into the auditorium and showed the picture, the movie, the HBO movie, of the Tuskegee Airmen, starring Lawrence Fishburne and Cuba Gooding Jr. And it was a pretty good documentary. There was a lot of Hollywood in there, but it was mostly factual. After my father's talk to the students, one of the high school students asked him if he was bitter about the fact that he was defending his country, and the country wasn't doing very much for him back in the 40s with the segregation and the way things were back in those days. And he says, Howard, how do you feel that, are you bitter that you were not considered a hero until the movie came out some 50 years later? My father says, no. is that people do not do heroic things to be labeled hero. They do heroic things because of who they are. He said he was a hero to his family, he was a hero to his community, and to his church. And that's what he had always tried to live up to. And I think those types of values that were instilled in me has led me and led us all to where we are today. This reception we're at is the Red, White, and Blue Memorial Day reception. And Memorial Day is set aside by the government to give remembrance and to honor and revere those military personnel and civilian personnel who lost their lives in defense of this country. These people who put their lives on the line to support the American way, to support the American flag, that gives us the freedoms that we enjoy as American citizens. This is the greatest country in the world. This is the country where people all around the world risk their lives to come here and be in the United States of America. This Memorial Day pays reverence to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives in the defense of our country. The next part of the program is going to be conducted by Bob Ryan, class of '66. Mr. Ryan.